Hi, thanks for joining me. We are towards the end of the day, and so I'm getting some really cool lighting in my window, which is all these rays that are coming through, which is kind of cool. So I'm going to leave it as part of the recording. But the opening card that we have for today is the Six of Pentacles. It actually came in today upside down. We have a challenge today of the Death card. The way that we're going to get through the challenge is the Strength card. And then the ultimate outcome for the day is the Ten of Wands, but I pulled an additional card for us for some clarity, and I got an Ace of Wands. So we're going to jump into these. Now, this opening card that we have for today being the Six of Pentacles. This card, when it is right side up, it is an energy of having some kind of judiciousness around where we put our energy and our resources, because pentacles are related to our belief systems, our financial situation, things that we value. And you can see that this person is dishing out coins to these two people that are kneeling beneath them. And it's as if we are figuring out where we want to give our energy to today and what we feel most called to give our energy to today. However, it came in upside down, which is telling me that perhaps we're not being so judicious around our resources. Perhaps we're spending our time rather than sharing our time, or we are maybe in essence wasting our time, depending on how one wants to look at where they're putting their energy in the day. So you consider you have 24 hours a day, part of it goes to sleeping, eating, bathing, all the things. What is it that you actually want to put your energy toward that you aren't able to? And can you at least have enough sobriety and detachment from your day to see where you put your effort that isn't actually serving you? Like, for instance, like for me, sometimes I'll find myself listening to things on YouTube or looking at TikTok things because I don't really watch TV, so I can get mesmerized by these things. And then I find myself being like, hey, maybe you should be working on that book that you should be working on instead, because I'm not being judicious around my time and my resources, right? I'm not choosing where to put my time in a judicious way. So this is some energy that we're looking at today. The challenge that we had that came in for today is the Death card, and this is a major arcana, so it does speak to some lesson that we are working with today, and it's a life lesson. It's not just like, a passing situation that we're working with. It's something that really is going to be shaping and shifting us in some direction. And I say that because we have a South Node in Scorpio right now, so it's pointing to where we need to transform ourselves and where we need to maybe let go of some things, like how we see things and how we've always seen things, and so we could be experiencing this transformation quite literally wherever Scorpio is sitting in your natal chart. And so that is something that we're working with. We're also working with seeing aspects of our own behavior and our own life that maybe aren't serving us anymore. In this Death card, as I mentioned the other day, actually, is that it's representative of Scorpio, which is the time of year in the Northern Hemisphere that trees are letting go of their leaves and they're pulling themselves inward. And when we pull ourselves inward, we get to look deeply at a lot of things. And some of the things that we see may be really hard for us to see in a sense of ego, right? Like we might not want to see our own shadow. We might not want to see aspects of ourselves that hurt people or that, took us in a direction opposite of where we really wanted to go. And yet we have to be willing to see these things in order to work with them and transform them and ultimately, allow some death of our own character, that we need to work on. It also speaks to some kind of ending or some sense of hardship as far as like some creative project, or even some relationship, something that was an ending for us that we need to let go of and let go of our attachment to thinking about it so that we can actually put our energy towards a new beginning in our life. Now, this Strength card came in as the way we're going to get through the challenge, which is another major arcana. And we see that this person is standing at the edge of this bridge with this huge lion in front of them and a garland of roses around both their waists, and she seems to be kind of petting this big lion as if they were a cat. And there's an infinity symbol on top of, or floating on top of her head, which speaks to this way that we learn how to work with our own desire nature through time, and how we can engage our own character to get through different circumstances. So consider that if you've found yourself in a situation where you are experiencing a sense of loss or a sense of fearfulness, and how much of your energy and time goes to that thought or that consideration, or just like turning that thing over again and again and again. And how can you have some understanding of your own nature and your own desire nature to want to figure that out, but also pull in the reins so that you can actually get across this bridge without it being such a scary thing. Now, when we are trying to cross a bridge, we can't look down, right? We have to have control over our own being so that we don't freak ourselves out and like run back to the other side of the bridge. You have to focus on what's on the other side, and that's how we're ultimately going to get through this sense of loss, is that there is something on this other side of that. And there always is whenever there is the death card that comes up, because it always speaks to a rebirth or new beginning. And as we've all been told many, many times, and it is true if we look back at our life, every ending opens up a doorway for a new beginning. And part of it is that we have to realize that so that we don't lose ourselves, like actually lose our time and spend our time and waste our time fretting over something that we've lost that we can't go back to. Now, the ultimate outcome that we have for today is this 10 of Wands energy. And then I asked for clarity around it, and we got an Ace of Wands, which is kind of interesting, I think, because the 10 of Wands, numerologically, if you reduce, if you add the 1 with the 0, you actually get a 1, which is like the up leveling of some new idea or some new project. And yet the 10 of Wands specifically is always about someone who just has way too much on their plate, right? They're the doaholic. They take on a lot. And it could be that, we have to really like put ourselves into action and engage ourselves in order to get through that sense of loss, so that we're not focusing on the loss, like actually focus on that which we have to do. And the only way we're going to get through this whole pile of wands that we have to work through, which is all the projects, all the inspirations, all the things that we're trying to actually accomplish, is to do things one thing at a time. And we have to remember that like every day we need to keep planting a seed, because we don't know when that particular thing is going to be growing into its own, ripeness and fruitfulness, and so that we can pluck it and actually like take it down the road and enjoy it with our community. But this is this energy of like, where do we put our will? Where do we put our effort each and every day? And are we just like not even aware of where we're going because we just have so much on our plate, versus, taking one thing at a time and then being able to move on to the next task. So if you do find yourself with like 10 things to do today, which one can you do first? And then once that thing is done, which thing can you do second? And then you'll have a lot less wands that are just blinding you and keeping you from recognizing your path. And ultimately, a new path is opening up, because we are going through that transformation process that we saw that came through in the death card. And really, it's about us being judicious with our time and putting it toward one of those wands rather than looking down at what we've lost. So interesting cards today, I think. I always think it's interesting when the wands show up with a bunch of major arcana, because I think it's just calling us to task that we have to show up for the projects that we truly believe in, because we're the ones that are here to make it happen. I send you a good wish today, and I hope you are well, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.